This creates a bittersweet contrast in your life. You become the person who provides comfort so instinctively that people often forget you might need comforting yourself. You understand the struggles of others because you have had to decode your own soul in ways most people never will. You provide warmth because you have survived the coldest winters. You hold space for others because you remember exactly what it felt like when no one held it for you. But beneath that compassion lies a quiet, heavy exhaustion. It isn't the kind of fatigue that sleep can cure. It is a weariness of the soul that makes you want to retreat rather than rest. You become the person who can support everyone else but finds it nearly impossible to ask for help. You offer clarity to others while living with your own unanswered questions. You fear that relying on someone else is an invitation for instability, so you choose the safety of isolation. Independence for you isn't just about confidence, it is a shield. It is the most secure option in a world that has proven itself unreliable. You have learned to self-soothe and self-correct because you had to. This creates a duality where the world sees someone who is composed and grounded while the inner self feels sensitive and overwhelmed. You avoid vulnerability not because you dislike connection, but because historically, being open has led to disappointment or misunderstanding. You reveal yourself in slow, deliberate layers, not as a game, but as an act of self-preservation. But there is a truth you need to hear. Nothing about you is broken. Your caution, your depth, and your reactions are all logical responses to the circumstances you survived. Adaptation is not a flaw. It is a masterpiece of human endurance. Despite the weight of your past, there is something remarkably beautiful about your psychology. People who have been through too much are often the ones who love most sincerely. They value small acts of kindness because they know the cost of cruelty. They cherish peace because they have lived through chaos. They are the ones who continue to move forward, not because they are unbreakable, but because they have been shattered before and found the courage to stand back up anyway. There is a unique wisdom in surviving yourself. There is a maturity that only comes from navigating the dark without a map. You carry these unspoken chapters inside you, like a book you never intended to write, yet that book contains the secrets to a profound kind of power. Underneath the survival instincts and the maturity, there is still a part of you that wishes things had been gentler, a version of life where you didn't have to grow up quite so fast. But even without that easier path, you have transformed your struggle into insight. You have turned your lessons into compassion. You don't just survive life, you interpret it. You have become a lighthouse for others, not because you are perfect, but because you understand the darkness and how terrifying it is to be lost within it. Your presence offers guidance because you know what it's like to carry a story that has no words. If you have been through too much, realize that your evolution wasn't an accident. It was intelligence. It was emotional growth. You are now capable of building a future that is far softer than your past, a life where strength is no longer a tool for survival, but a peaceful expression of who you are becoming. You didn't just endure, you blossomed through the cracks.
There is a specific moment that occurs in the life of someone who has endured far more than their share. It happens when they finally lower themselves onto a mattress, a plastic bus seat, or perhaps just the cold tiles of a bathroom floor. The setting is irrelevant. The internal sensation is what matters. They aren't sitting because their muscles are weary, but because a structure deep within them has reached its limit and quietly submits. It is a muted surrender, much like an overloaded pillar finally giving way under a weight it was never engineered to support. If you have ever experienced this, you understand that it isn't a violent fracture. There is no thunderous crash. Instead, it is a soft folding of the soul, a silent whisper from the heart that simply says, "I can no longer carry all of this at once." This is a threshold that those who have lived through too much recognize instantly. Yet the most unsettling part is that you rarely realize you have become this person until life demands you take notice. Oftentimes, a friend or a stranger will observe you in a moment of crisis and ask, "How are you staying so composed right now?" They mistake your lack of reaction for peace or Zen-like tranquility. What you cannot easily explain is that this isn't calmness, it is the profound, hollow stillness that takes root when the mind has been stretched past its processing capacity. It is the emotional static that remains when your heart has run 1,000 marathons without a single day of recovery. Society often praises resilience as a badge of strength, but for those who have weathered too many storms, fortitude feels less like a choice and more like a basic survival reflex. You didn't choose to be strong, you simply had no other alternative. Because of this, you carry a specific psychological gravity, a depth in your days, and a deliberate softness in how you listen that others can sense, even if they lack the words to name it. You become an expert at folding your grief into small, manageable shapes that can be tucked away into the hidden corners of your mind. You master the art of walking forward, even when your internal world feels like a hurricane. There is a strange irony in this. People who have endured the most often appear to be the most grounded, the most mature, and the most capable. They seem like the individuals who truly have their lives in order. However, if anyone were permitted to peer into that internal landscape, they would see that this maturity wasn't developed through gentle growth, it was extracted. It wasn't a choice, it was a requirement for survival. While some people flourish because they are nurtured, others grow because life denied them the safety of a traditional childhood or a carefree youth. When you carry more emotional mass than the human frame was intended to hold, your very psychology begins to reshape itself around that weight. Psychologically, this is often identified as emotional overcompensation. When the nervous system is flooded with stress too many times, it reorganizes itself out of sheer desperation. It adapts through hypervigilance, emotional bracing, and the constant anticipation of a disaster that hasn't arrived yet. If you have ever wondered why you find it impossible to stop overthinking, or why you are so sensitive to the slightest shift in someone's tone, this is the reason. Your mind learned long ago that unpredictability is a threat. Consequently, it constructed defensive barriers you never consciously asked for. Even as you heal and move into better chapters, the remnants of those old defenses remain, like the original foundation beneath a newly renovated house. You carry an unwritten curriculum. You know how to interpret silence, how to detect tension before it erupts, and how to navigate around conflict as if you were walking across shattered glass. These aren't just personality quirks, they are ingrained survival traits. Research suggests that prolonged periods of emotional overload cause the brain to recalibrate. It becomes a finely tuned instrument for threat detection, more responsive to subtle cues that most people ignore. While others might call this intuition, for you it is simply pattern recognition born of necessity. Yet within this survival, a profound tenderness often emerges. It is a gentleness that comes from knowing the precise texture of pain, not through theory, but through immersion. This softness is frequently misjudged as weakness, but the truth is the opposite. This kind of empathy doesn't come from an easy existence, it is forged in the fire of a difficult one. It is the result of a life that has taught you that every person you meet is likely hiding a burden they don't know how to discuss.